You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Coming up, Shannon Becker hitting the studio. They'll bring us this week's big three news stories, and a golf tournament tees off controversy.
Former President Trump facing growing backlash from 9/11 families for hosting a Saudi-backed golf tournament in New Jersey this weekend. I'm Dan Lieberman with why protesters say they're appalled the event could take place so close to Ground Zero.
And it's a nice start to the day. It's going to be dry, but the rain chances will return. We'll tell you when in the Skywatch Weather Center.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Oklahoma Forestry Service says more than 19,000 acres have burned in northwest Oklahoma since early this week. As of Wednesday evening, an official with Woodward County said the evacuation order has now expired and no homes have been lost. They say air attacks stopped the fire, and 8 fire task forces from the state were there yesterday. A project manager hired to clean up lead-contaminated soil at Granby, Missouri City Park pleads guilty to a federal crime. On Thursday, Lynn Ike of St. Louis admitted he intentionally gave federal officials false information regarding the scope and amount of lead contamination at Granby City Park. Ike was employed by a company that received a nearly $12 million contract to perform waste remediation in and around Granby. Officials say the deceit cost taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars to correct. Ike could get up to 5 years in federal prison. You can find a full list of the timeline on the crime on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Authorities in Joplin arrest and charge a man accused of shooting another man. Police say on July 16, 42-year-old Richard Mcword of Joplin shot 34-year-old Gregory Holstrom, also from Joplin. Shooting happened on South Finley Avenue. Holstrom has since been treated and released from the hospital. Officers arrested Mcword Thursday. He is charged with first-degree assault and armed criminal action. A Joplin native is trying to empower women over the age of 50 to feel more valued. KOAM's Yana Hatula spoke with her and has her story.
First of all, don't ever give up. I did, and I don't feel like there's people. There's not a huge support community out there.
Joplin native Rio Michelle wants plus-sized and women in their 50s to connect and help each other. She says some women at her age don't just want to be a wife, but go out there and be noticed. Rio felt invisible for 2 decades while parenting.
It was just time, and I wasn't comfortable. I didn't feel good about myself. I had low self-esteem.
According to Rio, it's hard to find tips on how to dress and represent herself, which makes it harder to actually start to value yourself and have a meaning.
I am actually the majority of women out there. I'm the size of the majority of women out there.
That is when she got the idea of creating profiles on social media to empower women like her to be proud and value themselves more.
I think that it's really important to, kind of share with other women that are in the same void with me.
Rio says it is also important to have a significant other who shows her she matters. Chris Parks, a counselor from Neosho, says there are women in their 50s struggling with their self-worth, identity, and sense of significance, oftentimes due to their children leaving home and not having the same kind of connection anymore. Chris agrees with Rio about having the connection with someone, especially after the children leave home.
It is all about the attachment of building and creating a new world and constructing a new world around them of friendships and opportunities that give them that sense of significance.
In Joplin, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
Well, you can find Rio on Facebook and TikTok with her artist name Rio Michelle, and on Instagram with Rio Michelle Parker. Well, today is the day to pucker up. July 29th is National Lipstick Day. Lipstick has been used by famous historical figures like Winston Churchill and maybe even George Washington. I would not have guessed that. But the cosmetic item has not always been seen in a positive light. The British Parliament banned lipstick in 1770, saying it could trick men into marriage. That's a good one. In the
like
past,
that.
lipstick has even sometimes contained poisonous materials. Now that is not good. Today, most people like to use lipstick to make a statement or to pull an outfit together. If you decide to celebrate National Lipstick Day, you won't be celebrating alone. Ulta and Sephora stores are running deals on many lip products, and Maybelline is planning a pop-up event and some fun social media surprises for the holiday.
See, I used to wear my favorite shade when I was younger. It's called chapstick. Really does wonders. But
is that what you have on now?
No. I had really bad dry lips when I was a kid, and I had chapstick like all the time, and then eventually it just stopped.
You stopped licking your lips constantly outside.
What I do with my lips is my business. They taste pretty salty. Sometimes I need some salt. I like salt. I can eat salt. I can also eat Taco Bell mild sauce packets.
Okay. I dig Mary Kay lipstick. There's my plug for Mary Kay.
I really haven't tried
Hey,
any
we were talking
lipstick,
about
so.
Ulta, Sephora, all of those things. Yeah. I'm a Mary Kay girl.
Well, all right. That's
those
good
who,
to know.
For those who wondered, I'm a Mary Kay girl.
If you, when Tanya has her birthday, you know, if you're wanting to send a gift, make sure you get some Mary Kay lipstick. Send it here to the station, care of Tanya Bach. We'll make sure she gets it.
Goodness.
Something else we...
No, it's Livewire Mountain Dew. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Already had
Livewire Mountain. Send cases of Livewire Mountain Dew.
I've already had it. I've moved on to coffee. I'm kind of backwards when it comes to
See, I do it the other way. I've got the coffee, then the soda. So something to keep you going through the day. Something else to keep you going through today, it's going to be pretty dry compared to what we've seen. Sun's rising, looking pretty good. Current conditions in Joplin, it's actually cooled off a bit. 72 is where we stand right now. Feels like 72. Humidity dew pointer up there, so there's a little thickness to the air, but not enough for a heat index. Most of us starting in the 70s, some cooler points up to our north. Drought situation upgraded yesterday, so a lot of us now in extreme drought, which there's only one more mark after that, which is exceptional. The rain is helping, but it's not going to be enough to put a significant dent in the drought situation. Dry today, increasing clouds as the day goes on, highs topping out in the upper 80s. As we go through the night, thunderstorm and shower chances really start to increase early Saturday morning, temperatures in the lower 70s and upper 60s. And a quick look at the future track, you can see maybe in southeast Kansas later today, scattered shower, maybe a rumble of thunder. Then it's overnight, as I mentioned. You see this big batch that comes in and rolls through the area. And it won't be the only rain we see. There will be more scattered storm chances as the day progresses through Saturday, and maybe even some more on Sunday before we dry out and we see summer return by next week. And we'll look at the 7-day forecast if we dare a little later.
If we dare.
If we dare. You may not want to see it, but we got to show it at some point.
I prefer just to have like a 2 or 3 day forecast and leave it at that.
You know, back in the day, I remember that, you know, like the Weather Channel, even local news, it was like a 3-day forecast because it's kind of all they could fit on the TV with the old graphics,
well,
too.
and plus technology nowadays helps you project further into the future.
That's very true. Weather models have become a lot more reliable. They can still be wrong from time to time, but for the most part, they're a lot more reliable than they used to be.
In the old days, we didn't have the heady cycle either. And
That's very true. That's very true. In the old days, we just didn't have Doug Heddy.
Yes.
Now we've got it.
Now we do.
He makes the weather, I think.
He's got to deal with Mother Nature.
He does. He does.
Moving along. Up next, some good news for those who need dialysis. A new study shows both physical and emotional benefits.
And later, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. We've got a triple offering of brand new racing video games for you to test drive. You're watching the KOAM Morning News right here on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, dialysis can benefit seniors both physically and emotionally. A new study shows older adults with advanced kidney disease often experience mental health issues in the year before starting treatment, but stabilized after they began. Doctors say dialysis can substantially help people improve their quality of life in different ways. Engineers at MIT are developing a sticker that can see inside the body. The stamp-sized device would adhere to your skin and provide continuous ultrasound imaging of internal organs for 48 hours. Stickers could one day be an alternative to some expensive ultrasound testing in hospitals and clinics. Well, people who don't sleep well at night and take prolonged daytime naps could be at increased risk of fatty liver disease. New research finds for people with sedentary lifestyles, even a moderate improvement in sleep quality was linked to 29% reduction in the risk for fatty liver disease. Well, 77-million-year-old fossilized dinosaur skeleton went up for auction on Thursday, and whoever buys this Gorgosaurus, well, they get to name it too. Some examples of dino names: Tyrannosaurus Rex Fossils, sold at an auction in 1997, nicknamed Sue. The world's most complete T-Rex skeleton, sold in 2020. That one's named Stan. Sotheby's is hosting the sale of the Gorgosaurus, and it was found on private land in Montana in 2018. According to the New York Times, dinosaur fossil went for just over $6 million. Some suggested names for the big spender: Gordon or George the Gorgosaurus.
The Gorgosaurus.
Did they determine that it was a male? I missed that in the full story.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing him in Jurassic Park, though, so I'm a little disappointed.
Well, no, this is a smaller version of a T-Rex. So
I know, but I'm just saying I didn't see any Gorgosauruses in Jurassic Park.
No. I'm curious if a Gorgosaurus can run faster than a T-Rex, though.
Well, we'll have to re-energize this skeleton and put him next to a T-Rex skeleton and see what happens.
This one could potentially... I was trying to rearrange my furniture in the living room last night so I could make room for...
A Gorgosaurus?
For the Gorgosaurus. I kind of like George the Gorgosaurus.
I like that too. I think that one would fit. I think it'd fit very well. Well, I got something else you might like. Rain.
Yeah.
More of it. So future track does show we're going to stay dry. We got partly cloudy skies through the day, and then clouds will increase. Maybe a stray shower or storm in southeast Kansas later this evening. Otherwise, dry until very early tomorrow morning when this batch of showers and thunderstorms rolls through, and then there will be additional storm chances on Saturday. And a quick look at the 7-day forecast. Nice temperatures, although rainy conditions. Before Monday, it starts to clear out. And by the start of next week, we are in the 100s yet again. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 after this. Former President Donald Trump is facing backlash from 9/11 families in a growing controversy over the Saudi-backed LIV Golf Tour. Its next tournament stopped tees off today at Trump's New Jersey golf course, where protesters are expected. Dan Lieberman has the latest from families, some of which are calling the event, quote, offensive, disrespectful, and hurtful.
I keep this wrapped in the American flag in my bedroom. This is his helmet. This is very personal. It's very, very painful.
For Janlyn Scoso and her daughter Juliet, who lost their firefighting husband and father on 9/11, the Saudi-backed golf tournament being hosted this weekend by former President Trump is too much to bear.
50 miles away from Ground Zero, not only in the backyard of that, but in the backyard of a lot of victims, it's so distasteful and it's so hurtful. And these golfers they're taking blood money.
The LIV Golf Tournament, launched this summer, is paying top stars from the PGA big money to join and offering top dollar prizes. An FBI report last September showed evidence that 2 Saudi officials provided support to at least 2 of the 9/11 terrorists. 15 of the 19 9/11 hijackers were Saudi nationals. Even Trump blamed the Saudis himself, appearing on Fox and Friends in 2016.
Who blew up the World Trade Center? It wasn't the Iraqis, it was Saudi. Take a look at Saudi Arabia. Open the documents.
But Thursday, teeing off on the golf course, Trump striking a very different tone.
Well, nobody's gotten to the bottom of 9/11, unfortunately.
In a statement to CBS News, LIV Golf said, "As we have said all along, these families have our deepest sympathy. While some may not agree, we believe golf is a force for good around the world." Dan Lieberman, CBS News, New York.
The LIV is expected to wrap up its season in October at another of Trump's clubs, the Doral course near Miami. We didn't do this earlier, I completely forgot, but on this day in weather history, back in 1916, lightning ignited a forest fire that burned down the towns of Cochrane and Matheson, Ontario, killing 233 people. It's just a reminder, lightning can be very dangerous. In fact, when I was looking for some neat today in weather history, they were all lightning related. Lightning is very dangerous, so you got to be careful when you're out there, especially during thunderstorms. We won't see many of them today. We're going to be pretty dry. We may see a scattered shower storm or two in southeast Kansas. The storm chances, though, will increase late tonight, very early tomorrow morning, and give us rain and showers all through tomorrow. And then it's going to start to heat up next week. So let's dive into the forecast. The rain today staying south of us for right now. We are dry right here in the four-state area. Outside at 7th and Rangeline, partly cloudy skies as the sun comes up. 72 is where we're at in Joplin right now. Most of us are starting the day in the 70s and even some upper 60s to the north. Drought conditions upgraded yesterday, so a number of us now in extreme drought. Only one more mark to go before it becomes exceptional drought. Despite the rain, it's not enough to make a significant dent in the drought conditions, but the rain is beneficial nonetheless. Again, dry today for most of us. Clouds will increase as the day goes on, highs topping out in the mid to upper 80s. And then as we go into the overnight, those storm chances increase, lows in the lower 70s to upper 60s. Future track shows where we may see one or two of those stray showers or storms for us in southeast Kansas before a bigger batch pushes in late tonight and into tomorrow morning, which you can see here. And it will move through early in the morning, and then there's a brief break before more showers and thunderstorms develop through the day. And a quick look, very quick look at the 7-day forecast shows us decent temperatures at least to go with the rain. Those rain chances increase, and then Monday, maybe an early morning shower before 100-degree temperatures return for the start of August. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 when we come back.
It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Lieutenant Commander Chester Wheatley. The Thayer, Kansas native served from 1942 to 1965. This decorated veteran earned the Air Medal, the Distinguished Cross, the Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, and the World War II Victory Medal. To Lieutenant Commander Chester Wheatley, we thank you, today's four-state hero. Well, you can forget about the high price of gas and drive as fast as you want when you get behind the wheel for a trio of new racing games.
Rick Damagella rolls through this edition of Game On.
There's no need for gas, or physics for that matter, in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels. The game features customizable race courses using those familiar snap-together Hot Wheels track pieces. The game is out now for PC and Xbox.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go!
On the opposite end of the game graphics spectrum is Formula Bit Racing DX. The game eschews high-octane graphics for a 90s arcade racer aesthetic and is playable on Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo consoles. For more retro racing action, there is 80s Overdrive. The game's pixel art style evokes the 16-bit graphics era and features a track generator and pulsing synthwave soundtrack. Previously playable on PC and Switch, gamers can now floor it on the new Xbox version of the game. Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
It was great. We were just talking. I had an Atari as a kid.
We got one of those boxes that has like 100 games built into it, all the old ones. River Raid was my favorite.
Oh my, no way.
Oh, I've shared this story in the past. You guys might remember. My dad did so well on River Raid. There was this thing where you could, like, once you get whatever level you get to, you take a picture of the TV screen, the old box set, take a picture of that, send it in, and they mailed him a River Raid patch.
That is awesome. See, I love River Raid.
Yeah.
I mean, it was my absolute favorite. There was another one called Robot Tanks that ranked up there as well. Robot Tanks was really good. The graphics were really good given the era it came from.
There's so many games on there I'd never
I
like
know.
we didn't play. We probably had 30 or 40 games ourselves, but not.
Yeah, I can't remember. We had a box full of those Atari cartridges.
Yeah.
My dad's favorite was Ms. Pac-Man. We'd go to Aladdin's Castle at the mall way back in the day before things like Tilt showed up. It was a nice little arcade in North Park Mall down by Venture. That's how far back this goes. And he'd always play Ms. Pac-Man when we'd go to that. So, the good old days.
All right. Well, joining the cast of the current #1 film in the U.S. was a no-brainer for at least one of its stars.
David Daniels got that and more.
You ready?
Stephen Yun says he was ready to leap into Nope as soon as he read Jordan Peele's script.
It was like, of course, of course Jordan would be this deep, this layered, and then also have the ability to take people on a great fun ride as well. I think that's the deft touch of a really special director.
Something isn't right, Paul.
Okay.
He got up before we could finish the scan.
I want to go home. I just want to go home.
Brett Cullen and Leslie Ann Warren star in It Snows All the Time, about a family coping with its patriarch's Alzheimer's diagnosis. The drama, inspired by a true story, opens in theaters this weekend.
If we do this, we have to make this look normal, like a real marriage. Gives you a year of free health insurance.
A struggling singer-songwriter and a troubled Marine fake a marriage in Purple Hearts so she can afford insulin for her type 1 diabetes. Star Sophia Carson says she was happy to bring attention to the real-life issue.
You know, so many young people who have type 1 diabetes who literally can't access the insulin that they need to wake up every single morning.
Purple Hearts debuts this weekend on Netflix. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Netflix continues to produce.
They certainly do.
Oh, I discovered with my Amazon Prime account, I will get Lord of the Rings series, and I'm super excited.
All right, there you go.
Just wanted to share that with you this morning. I was searching on there today, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Nice.
I'm really
Very
excited about
nice.
it. We're going to have some viewing parties because I know you want to watch it too.
That's true. I haven't seen it, so I do need to check it out.
There you go. Another half hour of news and weather is just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, the Federal Reserve just raised interest rates for a second time in recent weeks. That makes not only borrowing money more difficult, but for some people, harder to achieve the American dream of owning a house.
And fans say goodbye to beloved ice cream treat in a way that only Ginny Moose could serve up. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
Starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. Let's take a look at today's top stories. The Oklahoma Forestry Service says more than 19,000 acres have burned in northwest Oklahoma since early this week. As of Wednesday evening, an official with Woodward County said the evacuation order has now expired and no homes have been lost. They say air attacks stopped the fire and 8 fire task forces from the state were there yesterday. A project manager hired to clean up lead-contaminated soil at Granby, Missouri's City Park pleads guilty to a federal crime. On Thursday, Lynn Ike of St. Louis admitted he intentionally gave federal officials false information regarding the scope and amount of lead contamination at Granby City Park. Ike was employed by a company that received a nearly $12 million contract to perform waste remediation in and around Granby. Officials say the deceit cost taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars to correct. Ike could get up to 5 years in federal prison. You can find a full list of the timeline of the crime on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Authorities in Joplin arrest and charge a man accused of shooting another man. Police say July 16th, 42-year-old Richard Mcword of Joplin shot 34-year-old Gregory Holstrom, also of Joplin. The shooting happened on South Finley Avenue. Holstrom was treated and released from the hospital. Officers arrested Mcword yesterday. He is charged with first-degree assault and armed criminal action. Some local educators are learning how to prevent mass shootings. As students prepare to begin a new school year, McDonald County school leaders are attending a behavioral risk assessment training. The goal, to be able to spot potential violence before it starts. Now, School Safety Director Buck Owen says being proactive is one of the best ways to stop and reduce the risk of school shootings.
If we're reactive and wait till a threat reaches our building, it's too late. We have to act before the threat ever makes it to our school, and that's by intervening early in the process and identifying the warning signs and acting on those and getting those kids the mental health help that they need.
School officials say the safety of the students is the utmost priority. This morning, we're discussing collectors and collectibles, and people collect all kinds of things, from antiques to record albums, from comic books to baseball cards. People like stuff and they like to collect it. In fact, the comedian George Carlin did a whole routine on having a place for your stuff, and for most people, that place is your house. Earlier this morning, we met an antique dealer who, at no surprise, collected stuff like a life-size taxidermy elephant. He was named Doc. Now, most people don't collect on such a scale of item, but many do collect on such a scale quantity. Regardless of the amount, regardless of the items, we all tend to have those things that are near and dear to our hearts and that sometimes we can't seem to get enough of. We want to know, what do you collect? Your options to pick from could be anything from antiques, trading cards, stamps, records, comic books, coins. Let us know.
So I talked about what I collect, which thankfully doesn't take up much space. It just takes up space on my hard drive. But there are some interesting things that people can collect these days. And as you can see, a quarter of you collect antiques, a quarter of you collect trading cards, a quarter of you collect coins, and then 12% of you collect records, and another 12% collect stamps. Nobody collecting comic books. I don't know why comic books here aren't getting any love, but they're
Mine's not on there. I collect shot glasses from places I've traveled. Used to be states.
Yeah. Mine obviously not on there either because, as I mentioned, I like themes, so I collect news music themes. I've got quite a collection at home.
Unique.
Yeah, it's different for sure. Drives the wife nuts, but you know, I've got my 5-year-old. I told you he's learning the Breed Love Automotive commercial song. He also knows the melodies to a handful of those news themes as well, and he'll just randomly like hum them.
Nice.
So I'm doing my part to educate our
my oldest
young.
son, when he was around 5, he used to sing the Nationwide. Like
Nationwide is on your side.
Yep.
See, jingles work though. I'm telling you, they're very catchy, and as long as they are, they work really well. Something else that's working really well is rain. Not doing a lot for our drought situation, and it's not going to do much in terms of rain today. It's partly cloudy in Joplin right now. 72 degrees is where we're at. Most of us in the 70s to upper 60s as we start the day. Drought yesterday upgraded to extreme for a good chunk of the viewing area, which is not good, and the rain not making a big enough dent. It's helping, but it's not a big enough dent. As we go through the day, clouds will increase, but no real rain chances. It's going to be in the mid to upper 80s for afternoon highs. It's overnight tonight that those storm chances really pick up, with lows getting back into the lower 70s to upper 60s. And by tomorrow morning, we got more rain chances coming in, and they'll last through most of the day, and a lot cooler temperatures as well. We'll have more on your forecast and more news when the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 returns.
It's Friday, and that means we're being joined by Shannon Becker here this morning with the big 3 stories of the week.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Let's take a look at the big 3 stories everyone's talking about on the web. Number 3 this week, it was the officer-involved shooting near Cunningham Park on Saturday morning. A man now identified, Scott Pegram, was shot by 3 police officers of the Joplin Police Department. He was sitting in a car and was ramming their vehicles. He was taken to an area hospital. He will recover and face charges. Our number 2 story, it was last week's bonus. No survivors in a head-on crash just outside of Newtonia. Now, this happened last week. Sometimes our stories get a lot of hits and people keep watching and looking at them. There is a GoFundMe on our story now for the young lady who died. She did have, I think, 6 kids.
Oh, man.
Yeah, very sad story. Our number 1 story, everyone's talking about heat and fire. Wildland fires is what they call it. Here's some cedar trees as they burst into flames. This is in Lebanon, Missouri, over the weekend, and it could happen here. In fact, just outside of Seneca Rural Fire Department and other area departments together working this grass fire, which got into a tree line. Scary stuff there from our friend Chris Zumwalt. And then we had our own grass fire, the Wildcat Glades on Castle Drive. That was a pretty big fire. It did burn out as it reached Shoal Creek just across from the boat ramp, excuse me. And our number 1 story, that was our number 1. Well, I'm messing everything up, aren't I?
No, you're fine.
Our bonus is the bear in the air. Did you hear about this over the weekend?
I did not.
Yeah, in southwest Missouri, there's a helicopter all over. A hazardous moving violation is what Joplin Police told us with the Missouri State Highway Patrol and Jasper County deputies. They were watching out for dangerous drivers. It's paid for by the Missouri Department of Transportation. Here's one guy who ran from police on a motorcycle and got arrested at 21st in Virginia. Reports are he was doing 85 and a 30. So dangerous driving. The helicopter would kind of notice what was going on, and then they could see where they ended up. It lasted all evening till about 11:30 on Saturday night. And some people, this wasn't even involved in it, but it was a felony traffic chase, I guess you could call it, in Newton County, not even where it was happening. But a lot of people were talking about, asking about it. Driver is okay. He will recover and face charges as well.
That's good.
It's the big 3 stories of the week. And next time I'll do better at counting down the 3, 2, 1, you know.
We're going to need to like come up with some cards.
Yeah, flashcards. That might work out for me, right?
Now we're ready for 3.
Yeah, no.
All right. And I like that you do the bonus too as well.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Check it out on the web.
Well, I hope you have a great weekend.
You too. You too.
We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, the Federal Reserve took unprecedented action this week after it raised interest rates for the 4th time in 5 months. Second time this year in an attempt to battle inflation. That means it's now more expensive to borrow money. That complicates things for people who are looking to buy a home. As interest rates climb, experts predict a slowdown in housing demand, but some buyers are trying to find opportunity in what many consider a bleak economic outlook. Gloria Pazmino takes a look in the story.
Gene Mammerl is on the cusp of achieving his lifelong dream.
I've always wanted to live in a major city, and New York always just appealed to me.
He works in IT for medical education, and since moving to the city in 2014, he's joined the thousands of New Yorkers who pay rent and live with roommates. But things shifted recently after rent for his $3,900 a month, 2-bedroom Manhattan apartment was set to increase by nearly $1,000.
It's not going to get any cheaper to rent, and I'm basically just almost throwing away money for renting.
So he decided to enter the housing market despite an increase in interest rates, even if it means relying on family members for help.
I'm stable enough that I could put in for a mortgage, and I might as well just go ahead and go for it, especially with my sister and my parents helping me.
But not all potential buyers are in the same position. As the Federal Reserve continues to fight inflation, borrowing costs are increasing.
You have 2 buckets of buyers. You have the buckets of buyers for who they simply will no longer be able to afford the same price point with the higher interest rates. And then you also have the buckets of buyers who can afford anything in the world.
This week, members of the U.S. Central Bank approved yet another interest rate hike of 0.75 percentage point. That likely means higher interest rates for mortgages, which have seen some of the sharpest increase in decades.
The housing market's taking it on the chin right now. Even in the big metros like LA, San Francisco, New York, where you might get jumbo loans, you move from 2.5% to almost 5%. So it's naturally going to slow down demand for homes just because homes have gotten that much more expensive.
That could lead to a cooling of the housing market.
I don't think we're going to see plummeting. I think we're going to see very steady, stable pricing, not where it was a year ago, but we're not going to see New York fall 40%.
For now, Gene is moving ahead with his purchase.
People flock here. You have your ebbs and flows of going in and out. The mortgage, I figure the rate itself, yes, it may jump up, but I figure I'll have a chance later on to refinance if it ever drops down to a significantly low level.
In New York, I'm Gloria Pazmino reporting.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Well, the company's most famous advertising slogan is, "What would you do for a Klondike bar?"
And of course, the answer is, the answer for another of its ice cream products, rather, is the Choco Taco. It might not be very much.
Klondike is pulling the Choco Taco off the market due to melting consumer demand.
I don't buy any of that, just for the record, but that's all right. As Jeannie Moose reports, some, including myself, aren't so happy to see it go.
How do you say goodbye to a treat that's mere name melts in your mouth?
Choco Taco. It's discontinuing the Choco Taco.
Take my Choco Taco from me. Oh, sure, there were some mock tears.
This deserves a memorial.
The Today Show even added mournful music and lowered tissues so the hosts could wipe their mouths, if not their eyes. Fans created Choco Taco art. Others reminisced, "You were the only food I cared about in 4th grade." Choco Taco is dead, but these are still alive? Hostess Snowballs? Jimmy Fallon crooned his farewell.
Your Choco melted long before your taco ever did.
Co-founder of Reddit tweeted its maker, "I'd like to buy the rights to your Choco Taco." While Senator Chris Murphy joked, "I am introducing legislation to invoke the Defense Production Act to mandate the continued manufacture of Choco Tacos." One host pronounced them beloved while mispronouncing them.
The beloved Choco
Tacos.
I've never had one of these.
You're kidding. Choco Taco was trash. Let's just be real about that.
Someone else had the nerve to say Choco Taco was just a soggy version of the drumstick.
If everybody who loved Choco Taco bought a Choco Taco as much as they talk about how much they love Choco Taco, they'd still have a damn Choco Taco.
Some did buy as many as possible, piling them up in their freezer to rest in peace.
Knowing this was going to be our last time Choco Tacoing together. F*** you, Klondike, for taking away these moments from us.
Forget last rites. We're talking last bites. Ginny Mose, CNN, New York.
All right, that was fantastic. I really, I was a fan of the Choco Taco, but I'm sending baseball signals to Tanya.
Oh, I got my mic right
there. Something like that. No, it's on. Well, that's odd. Well, maybe I'm also partially deaf.
So you can't use that as an excuse.
Hey, there we go. There we go. All right. But yeah, so here's the deal. Choco Taco is very delicious. And I don't know how many people remember Crystal Pepsi. I know they brought it back a few years ago. Something about it's just really sweet, and I wish they'd bring it back again. But if Pepsi's listening, bring back Crystal Pepsi at least one more time, because I did not buy enough when you released it a few years ago. Yeah, something else you can't buy enough of, good weather. Because it's really nice. 72, partly cloudy skies in Joplin right now. A lot of us sitting in the 70s as we get about our day, but we still got some lower 60s up to the north. And unfortunately, despite all the rain, Drought Tracker revised yesterday. Look at all this red. I mean, look at all that red. That's extreme drought in all of this. And it's only one step away from exceptional drought, and that's the highest that the Drought Tracker goes. Going to be dry most of the day today, increasing clouds as the day goes on, highs pushing the mid to upper 80s with a light northeast breeze. Then the clouds really pick up because the storms will pick up overnight with lows in the lower 70s to upper 60s. Quick look at the future track. You can see where the clouds begin to fill in, and as they do, maybe a stray shower or rumble of thunder in southeast Kansas, otherwise pretty dry. It's not until very early tomorrow morning you see this batch start to move in. And it'll overwork the area, give us some showers, some thunderstorms, the rain that we really need. And there will be more showers and thunderstorms through the day on Saturday, so we do need the rain, and any bit helps. Decent temperatures to go along with the rain. Maybe a morning shower on Monday, and then let me get out of the way for the bad news. Summer returns for the first week of August. Temperatures pushing back to into the 100s, rather. That's going to be another warm one coming up. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. Kentucky's governor is warning the death toll from catastrophic flooding will likely rise into the double digits in the coming days. Flash flooding washed out roads and bridges and forced many to flee their homes, some needing rescuing from their own rooftops. More rain is in the forecast, and additional flooding is also expected in West Virginia and Virginia. The U.S. Postal Service is creating a new division specifically for mail-in ballots. The agency, which has already handled more than 40 million ballots for this year's midterm, says it's committed to the secure and timely delivery of election mail for the 2020 election. The post office says it's delivered more than 99% of ballots within 7 days. Today, the Biden administration is making nearly 800,000 doses of the monkeypox vaccine available nationwide. In San Francisco, a state of emergency begins Monday as the city tries to slow the spread. Officials say the declaration allows them to cut through red tape. City leaders say they will not implement behavior restrictions like with COVID-19.
As you head out for the day, it's going to be a cloudy one, but drier than it has been the last couple of days. Afternoon highs pushing into the mid to upper 80s. Storm chances build back in tonight. They really begin to increase by early tomorrow morning. Lows in the lower 70s and upper 60s, and you can see that on the future track. Clouds build in through the day, maybe a stray shower or rumble of thunder in southeast Kansas, otherwise dry. And then we get a nice big batch of showers and thunderstorms to start the day on Saturday. Now, those showers and thunderstorms stick with us through Saturday into Sunday before summer returns next week, and temperatures climb back to about 100 degrees for the first week of August.
Well, Jeopardy makes it official and names its permanent host.
And the popular game show shared on Twitter Wednesday that it has found its new co-hosts in Mayim Bialik and Ken Jennings. They replace Alex Trebek, who hosted the show for more than 3 decades. Bialik and Jennings have been guest hosting since October after Mike Richards stepped down from the role because of sexual harassment allegations. Jeopardy is also launching a topical weekly podcast named Inside Jeopardy, which will be hosted by the producers of the game show. New episodes of the game show will begin airing on Thursday.
All right. I've always liked Mia.
Oh, yeah. And I've always liked Jeopardy. And I think Ken and he's doing it again. We'll have to check into this. But I've always liked Jeopardy, and I think Ken and Miam have been doing a great job. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. Make sure you come back, because we'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.